Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the first session of the course. The topic name is Network Design 1, that is maximizing global performance, a comprehensive discussion to edge network services in architectural design. We need to talk in the introduction part of the lecture. In today's digitally interconnected world, the optimizing user performance and managing a global traffic that efficiently are a very paramount for businesses operating on a global scale. To achieve this, incorporating edge network services into your architecture, that is very a strategic move that can significantly enhance the overall user experience we can get. As part of the introduction level, we will explore the design considerations and some of the patterns for leveraging content distribution network. The shortcode is a CDNs and global traffic management services to achieve these optimal results. The first point we need to talk about understanding the landscape, starting from the design patterns for a content distribution networks. CDNs that play a crucial role in improving the delivery of a web content by strategically placing cached copies of asset closer to end users. Like Amazon CloudFront, a popular CDN service, it utilizes a network of edge locations to reduce latency and enhance the speed of content delivery too. So when designing a solution, it's a very essential part to employ design patterns that leverage the strengths of CDNs and ensuring that the static assets are distributed efficiently instead. Second, we've been design patterns for a global traffic management. Actually, the global traffic management, that is another key aspect of optimizing user experience on a global scale. Services like AWS Global Accelerator, it provides intelligent global routing and directing user traffic to optimal endpoints that are based on health, geography, and routing policies. So design patterns for a global traffic management that involve creating a resilient and fault-tolerant architecture that adapts to varying conditions across the globe. The third is very important point, that is integration patterns with other services. Like a seamless integrations with other services is very crucial for a holistic architecture. Like elastic load balancing, the shortcode is ELB, and Amazon API, that is a gateway. And like there are the two services that can be very tightly integrated with the CDNs and global traffic management. ELB, that is elastic load balancing, that ensures the distribution of incoming application that traffic across the multiple targets, while Amazon API, that gateway facilitates the creation and management of APIs. So effective integration patterns ensure a cohesive and interconnected network that delivers a superior user experience we can create. So what are the tailoring solutions to specific needs? According to the evaluating global traffic requirements, we have to understand the points. Understanding the intricacies of a global inbound and outbound traffic, that is very fundamental to designing an effective content distribution solution. Different type of factors are available, such as like geographical distribution of a users, the nature of a content, like a static content or dynamic content maybe, and regularity considerations that must be carefully evaluated. This evaluation helps in determining the most suitable CDN configurations and global traffic management strategies. Also, we need to focus more. And the fifth point, that is a customizing content distribution solutions. Actually, the different types of content that demand different distribution strategies. For strategic assets to like images and style sheets, a robust CDN with the caching capabilities, that may be sufficient now. On the other hand, we can focus dynamic content that may require a combination of a CDN caching and real-time data retrieval from origin servers. So tailoring the content distribution solutions to the specific needs of the application, that ensures optimal performance and resource utilization, we need to focus much more. So what are the best practices for implementation? Starting from the utilizing a multiple CDN providers, we have to focus more. To further enhance resilience and performance process, just to consider utilizing multiple CDN providers. And this multi-CDN approach can provide a redundancy and ensure a consistent service even in the face of disruptions from a single provider. And we need to focus about the regular performance monitoring and optimization level. Just continuous monitoring of the CDN and the global traffic management services, that is very crucial part. Implementing tools and processes for performance monitoring, it allows for a timely identification of bottlenecks and areas for improvement, and regular optimization that based on a performance data. It ensures that the architecture remains adaptive to changing user patterns and network conditions, we can say here. So the short nutshell, we can say incorporating edge network services into your global architecture, that is a very strategic imperative for our businesses, and it aiming to deliver high performance applications to users around the world. Understanding and the design patterns for CDNs, as I have explained, and global traffic management and integration with other services, and by carefully evaluating a traffic requirements, you can create a resilient and optimized solutions that enhances user experience and ensure efficient traffic management on a global scale we can create. Embracing these principles and best practices will position our architecture to meet the challenges of the ever-evolving digital landscape. We can focus more. Okay, the next point we need to discuss about the designing comprehensive DNS solutions with Amazon Route 53. Actually, the domain name system, the DNS, is the backbone of the internet. Actually, like translating user-friendly domain names into IP addresses that the computers use to identify each other. So in the cloud era, we know it's having a robust DNS solutions is a very crucial for ensuring a seamless connectivity and efficient traffic management process. As part of the lecture and some of the slides, we need to explore about the design of a DNS solutions that cater to public, private, and hybrid requirements that are leveraging the powerful features of Amazon Route 53. The first point, that is understanding a DNS fundamentals. So before delving into the intricacies of Amazon Route 53, let's revisit some fundamental concepts of the DNS protocol. Starting from the DNS protocol essentials, like a DNS records means these are the key elements that store information about the domain. Like a common record tabs include like A, that is address record, and the C name, that is a canonical name record, and MX, that is mail exchange record, and much more. This is also called DNS records. According to the TTL, that is a time to live, as it determines how long DNS information is cached. So because shorter TTLs, that is shorter time to live, it allow for a quicker changes to propagate, but can increase the DNS query load. The third will be on a DNSSEC, that is DNS security extensions, we can say. A suite of extensions that adds an additional layer of security to the DNS protocol by signing DNS data. The final will be on a DNS delegation and zones. So delegation, that is the process of assigning authority over subdomains. A DNS zone is a portion of the domain namescape, we can say something. So according to the like a DNS logging and the monitoring, we have to focus more, because monitoring DNS activity, that is very crucial for identifying issues, ensuring optimal performance, and detecting security threats, everything. Logging provides insights into queries response and potential anomalies. So what are the Amazon Route 53 features? We need to discuss some other points. Actually, the Amazon Route 53 is a scalable and highly available domain name system. Web service provided by Amazon Web Services. Just let's explore some of its key features, starting from the public hosted zones. So creating and managing, like a Route 53, it allows the creation and management of a public hosted zones. It's enabling the association of domain names with IP addresses too. According to the private hosted zones, it's isolating a DNS resolution because for private resources within an Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, the VPC, Route 53, it supports the creation of a private hosted zones, isolating DNS resolutions within the VPC. What are the resolver endpoints in hybrid and AWS architectures? Starting from the hybrid connectivity, we need to focus. With the Route 53 solver, it's a possible to seamlessly integrate on-premises networks with AWS. It's providing a consistent DNS solution across a hybrid architectures. And like a global traffic management, also we need to focus as because it's connected with the traffic policies. So Route 53, it facilitates the implementation of a traffic policies. It's allowing businesses to route end user requests that are based on factors like endpoint health and geographic location and routing policies, everything. So what are the health checks? Ensuring endpoint health, that is very important status here, because Amazon Route 53, that health checks monitor for the health and the performance of our applications and their endpoints. It's automatically routing the traffic away from unhealthy resources too. So what are the point we need to discuss about the integration with the AWS networking services? Starting from the Amazon VPC integration, that is a first step. So secure connectivity, that is very important motto, because integrating Route 53 with Amazon virtual private cloud, like Amazon VPC, it enhances the security and the privacy of DNS queries within the VPC. So what are the hybrid, multi-account and multi-region options? So like a flexibility in deployment. Route 53 that seamlessly integrates with the hybrid architectures, that supporting a DNS resolution across a multiple AWS accounts and regions too. So what about the domain registration? Route 53 is not only a DNS service but also a domain registration service. It's offering a streamlined process for registering new domains and managing existing ones. So we need to scale these actions, some other points we need to talk now. Using Route 53, that public and private hosted zones, because it's navigate through the process of creating and managing public and private hosted zones with the Route 53. And according to the resolver endpoints in hybrid and AWS architectures. So we need to concentrate through the implementation walkthrough. We need to learn how to set up and utilize Route 53 resolver endpoints to achieve seamless DNS resolution in hybrid and AWS architectures process. So what are the global traffic management strategies we need to discuss? Actually, as I told, it's connected with the optimizing performance, because understand the strategies for implementing a global traffic management using a Route 53 is a powerful features. And like a domain registration management, that is effective and efficient domain management process. Because just explore the functionalities of a Route 53 in the context of a domain registration, from registration to DNS configuration, we need to focus. So in a short nutshell, we can say designing DNS solution that meets diverse requirements is a very critical aspect of a modern IT architectures. Amazon Route 53, with its rich feature set, it provides a scalable and reliable platform for fulfilling these type of needs. By mastering the skill that I mentioned and discussed above and understanding the nuances of our DNS fundamentals, you can architect a robust and efficient DNS solutions to support your organization's evolving infrastructure we can create. The next point, the mastering a load balancing for high availability, scalability, and security in AWS. In today's dynamic and ever-changing and ever-evolving digital landscape, achieving high availability, scalability, and robust security, that is very paramount for any type of web application or service. Like one of the key components that play a crucial role in meeting these type of requirements is load balancing. Understand? This part of the lecture, we need to discuss about some of the intricacies of a load balancing at the different layers of the OSI model, that explore various types of a load balancer and discuss their integration with other AWS services for optimal network design. Everything we need to discuss now. The first point we need to talk about the understanding load balancing. Like a load balancing that distributes incoming network traffic that across multiple servers to ensure that no single server bears too much load. It's preventing a bottlenecks and optimizing resource utilization. And it operates different types of the OSI model, and each with its a unique set of benefits and use cases. The first will be on layer 3 load balancing. At the network layer, load balancing works by distributing a traffic based on IP addresses, and this helps achieve high availability and scalability by ensuring that the traffic is evenly distributed across multiple servers. Second will be on a layer 4 load balancing. So it's operating at the transport layer. It load balancing based on a port numbers. It allows for a more granular distribution of a traffic. This is particularly beneficial for applications with a specific port requirements, it enhancing the overall efficiency and performance too. The third will be on a layer 7 load balancing. Actually, load balancing at the application layer, it involves considering application specific data instead. This enables intelligent routing decisions that are based on internet, it enhancing both the security and the scalability for complex applications we need to say now. So what are the types of load balancers we need to discuss now? Actually, AWS offers various types of load balancers and each tailored to specific use cases, network designs, and the security requirements too. The first point we need to talk about the internal load balancers. Just used for distributing traffic within a private network, that internal load balancers, it play a crucial role in optimizing the performance of internal applications and services. According to the external load balancers, it is designed for distributing incoming internet traffic. It external load balance. It enhances the availability and responsiveness of web applications by evenly distributing the load among multiple servers. So what are the scaling factors and integrations we need to discuss now? Actually, achieving optimal scalability that involves considering a factor such as like a load balancer types, target groups, and integrations with other AWS services. So some of the key integration include like a global accelerator, CloudFront, AWS WAF, Route 53, Amazon AKS, and AWS Certified Manager, everything. So we need to talk some other points under the scaling factors or integrations. First will be on configuration options. Just fine tuning a load balancer and the target group configurations. And that is very essential for meeting a specific application requirements. Options such as like a proxy protocols, cross-zone load balancing, session affinity, and routing algorithms that offer flexibility and customization mode. Second will be an AWS load balancer controller for Kubernetes. Actually, for Kubernetes clusters, the AWS load balancer control, it simplifies the integration of load balancers. It's automating the creation and management of resources and ensuring a seamless scalability and reliability we can create. According to the encryption and authentication, ensuring the security of data that is very transit is a very crucial part. Load balancers support a TLS termination and pass-through. It's providing options for securing communication between clients and servers. Considerations for encryption and authentication must align with the specific security requirements of the application. So in a conclusion, we can say mastering load balancing in AWS, it involves a comprehensive understanding of how it operates under different layers of the OSI model, the types of load balancers available, scaling factors, and integration with other AWS services, and the meticulous configuration for specific use cases, everything we have discussed. By adopting a best practices and leveraging the capabilities of AWS load balancing services, organizations can achieve the high availability, scalability, and the security that are needed to thrive in today's digital landscape. We can focus, my dear students. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the introduction part of the topic of network design part 1. Thank you once again, and thank you all, my dear students. Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the second session of the course. The topic name is Network Design 2. That is a part 2 we need to discuss now. Navigating visibility, comprehensive discussion to logging and monitoring in AWS and hybrid networks. In the dynamic landscape of a cloud computing, the effective logging and monitoring that are very crucial components for ensuring the health, the performance, and the security of your infrastructure. Actually, this becomes even more complex in hybrid environments where on-premises and cloud-based systems coexist. So in this part of the lecture, we will delve into the definition of a logging and monitoring requirements and explore the key tools and services provided by Amazon Web Services for achieving comprehensive visibility. First point, we need to talk about the logging and the monitoring requirements. According to the definition, logging that involves the collection and storage of data related to system events, application performance, and user activities too, we can say. So monitoring, on the other hand, we can say it is the real-time observation of these logs and metrics to identify issues, track trends, and make informed decisions too. So why logging and monitoring are so essential? The starting from the proactive issues identification. Timely detection of anomalies or issues before they escalate, that is very crucial for maintaining a healthy environment. And according to the performance optimization, monitoring provides insights into the resource utilization. It's helping in optimizing the performance of your infrastructure. As well as we need to focus about the security. So logging is fundamental for security, and it's allowing for the detection of suspicious activities and potential security threats too. So what are the AWS tools for logging and monitoring we have to discuss now? Actually, starting from the Amazon CloudWatch, according to the metrics process, CloudWatch, it provides a wide array of metrics for various AWS resources, and it's helping you understand the performance of your applications and infrastructure. And the agents means the CloudWatch agents, it collected logs and metrics from EC2 instances and on-premises servers, it ensuring a comprehensive monitoring level. And what about the alarms? Just to set up alarms to receive notification when certain thresholds are breached, it's allowing for proactive issue resolution model. Finally, when dashboards and insights, just to create a custom dashboards to visualize data and gain actionable insights into your system's health and performance, we need to focus more. And second point, we need to talk about the AWS Transit Gateway Network Manager. So we have to talk about the visibility into network connectivity. This is a very important tool, and it provides a centralized view of your network topology, and it helping you understand how different components are connected. Okay. And according to the monitoring and the troubleshooting level, we need to gain some insights into the status of your network and troubleshoot connectivity issues efficiently. So what about the VPC reachability analyzer? So visibility into VPC connectivity, this feature, it allows you to analyze the reachability between resources within your virtual private cloud. The shortcode is a VPC. And the troubleshooting connectivity also we need to focus, because just identify and resolve connectivity issues with the ease mode. The fourth will be on a flow logs and traffic monitoring. Flow logs, it captures information about IT traffic, like IP traffic. It's going down to and from a network interfaces in your VPC, that is a virtual cloud, private cloud, subnet or a network load balancer. We can follow through the flow logs. And traffic monitoring, it's a duplicate and send your network traffic to an Amazon VPC traffic mirroring target for analysis. Okay. So what are the fifth point, that is the access logging, starting from the load balancers and the cloud front. It enables access logging for load balancers and the cloud front, the distributions to capture detailed information about request. And according to the security and the compliance, access logs are valuable for security audits, compliance, and forensic analysis mode. So in a short nutshell, we can say effective logging and monitoring that are indispensable for maintaining a resilient and a secure cloud infrastructure. AWS offers a robust set of tools and services such as like Amazon CloudWatch, a Transit Gateway Network Manager, VPC Reachability Analyzer, Flow Logs, and a Traffic Mirroring. and the access logging, everything to meet the specific lead and diverse needs of logging and monitoring in both AWS and hybrid network architectures. So by leveraging these type of tools, the business organizations can ensure a proactive issue resolution that optimize performance and enhance the overall security of their systems too. Just to stay vigilant and to stay informed and empower your cloud journey with the comprehensive visibility. The next part we need to talk about the crafting a seamless connection. What are the designing routing strategies and connectivity architecture on on-premises networks and AWS cloud? In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, businesses are increasingly turning to the cloud for scalable, flexible, and cost-effective solutions. Amazon Web Services that stands at the forefront of a cloud service providers. It's offering a plethora of services to cater to these type of diverse business needs. One critical aspect of transitioning to the cloud is establishing a robust connection between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud. That's why in this lecture part, we need to discuss about some of the intricacies of designing a comprehensive routing strategy and connectivity architecture, and just considering some of the key elements such as like routing fundamentals, layer 1 and layer 2 concepts, encapsulation and encryption technologies, resource sharing across the AWS accounts, and overlay network, everything we need to discuss now. The first point we have to talk about the routing fundamentals. What are the dynamic versus static versus BGP? Routing forms the backbone of any type of network, and choosing the right routing strategy that is pivotal for efficient communication between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud. So understanding the nuances of a dynamic routing protocol such as like OSPF or BGP, it's a comparative to static routing is a very essential part here. And the AWS supports dynamic routing within the border gateway protocol, that is a BGP, and it's allowing for automatic detection and rerouting in case of failures. Actually, this is a dynamic approach. It enhances adaptability and resilience mode. The second will be in a layer 1 and a layer 2 concepts. What are the VLANs, lags, optics, and jumbo frames also we have to discuss some of the points. As I told, layer 1 and the layer 2 concepts that are very crucial for establishing a physical interconnection between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud. VLANs, like a virtual local area networks, it helps in logically segmenting the network, and it's enhancing security and manageability. Because the link aggregation groups like LAGs, it provides increased bandwidth and redundancy. So optics refer to the use of a fiber optics for high speed, reliable connections, everything. So jumbo frames, it optimizes data transfer by allowing a larger packet sizes. So integrating these type of concepts, it ensures a solid foundation for a data transmission mode. The third point that is a very important point, like encapsulation and encryption technologies, according to the GRE and IPsec. Actually, security that is a very paramount when transmitting data between on-premises networks and AWS cloud. Because the generic routing and encapsulation, the shortcode is a GRE. It enables the creation of a private, secure communication tunnels over the internet. IPsec, that is Internet Protocol Security, it adds an additional layer of encryption process, and it's a safeguarding data in transit. So employing these technologies, it ensures the confidentiality and integrity of the transmitted data. Understand? The fourth point will be on resource sharing across AWS accounts. In a multi-account AWS account and environment, resource sharing, it becomes a critical consideration. Implementing the right strategy for sharing resources across accounts that involves defining appropriate IAM, that is identity and access management policies, and it's enabling secure cross-amount access here. So this ensures that resources are utilized efficiently while maintaining a strong security posture. Finally, will be an overlay networks. So overlay networks, it facilitates seamless communication between on-premises networks and AWS by abstracting the underlying infrastructure complexities we have to focus more. So technologies like Amazon VPC, like a virtual private cloud, it allows for the creation of isolated, customizable networks. So leveraging overlay networks, it enhances the flexibility, scalability, and we can say like ease of management too. So in a short nutshell, we can say designing a routing strategy and the connectivity architecture that's between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud. It demands a comprehensive understanding of our networking fundamentals, security protocols, and cloud infrastructure. By carefully considering routing protocols, layer 1 and layer 2 concepts, encapsulation and encryption technologies, resource sharing strategies, and overlay networks, businesses can create a robust and secure connection we can create. And actually, this not only ensures optimal performance, but also lays the groundwork for future scalability and adaptability in an ever-evolving technological landscape we have to focus more. Okay, the next point we need to talk about the crafting an effective AWS connectivity architectures, that is navigating the cloud. In the ever-evolving landscape of cloud computing, it's designing a robust and scalable AWS connectivity architecture. That is a very critical aspect of ensuring an optimal performance, securely, and flexibility for your applications. We need to focus. So this lecture part will discuss about the intricacies of creating a routing strategy and connectivity architecture that spans the multiple AWS accounts, regions, and the virtual private clouds, while considering various connectivity patterns, including like a VPC peering and transit gateway and the AWS private link and the advantages of VPC sharing. Also, we need to discuss now. The first point we have to talk about the understanding of connectivity patterns, starting from the VPC peering. VPC peering, it allows a direct communication between VPCs using a private IP addresses. Ideal for scenarios where you need to share resources between VPCs, it's owned by the same or different AWS accounts. Second will be a transit gateway, act as a centralized hub that simplifies network architecture and enables transitive communication between VPCs. Because it's efficient for a larger scale deployments, supporting up to 5,000 VPC attachments here. The third will be an AWS private link. It facilitates a private connectivity between VPCs, AWS services, and on-premises applications, and it ensures a secure and scalable connection without traversing the public internet. Understand? So what of the crafting a routing strategy, starting from the IP subnets, just careful planning of IP subnets that is very essential to prevent overlaps and ensure efficient use of address space. And we need to utilize like a CADR blocks effectively. That is a very important stage, just considering a future scalability and potential mergers or acquisitions too. And according to the connectivity architecture, just to design a resilient architecture that spans multiple AWS accounts and regions, and just to leverage AWS Direct Connect or VPN connections for secure communication with on-premises networks too. The third will be a VPC sharing, as I told, understand the capabilities and advantages of a VPC sharing. Just to share resources like Amazon EC2 instances or Amazon RDS databases across accounts while maintaining granular control we can create through the VPC sharing process. So what are the best practices we have to talk now? Starting from the security, according to the security, just implement the network access control list. The shortcode is NACLs, and the security groups to control inbound and outbound traffic, and leverage AWS identity and access management to manage access to AWS resources securely. Second will be monitoring and logging. Utilize AWS CloudWatch and AWS CloudTrail for monitoring and logging network activities. Just implement alarms and notifications to proactively respond to potential issues too. So according to the documentation, just to maintain a comprehensive documentation, and it's detailing the connectivity architecture, routing strategies, and any type of security policies, and just to document the purpose of each VPC and the connectivity patterns employed. So in a conclusion, we need to focus designing a robust AWS connectivity architecture. It requires a thorough understanding of different connectivity patterns IP subnets, and the capabilities of AWS services, everything. By leveraging VPC peering, a transit gateway, AWS private link, and adopting best practices for security and monitoring, business organizations can ensure a scalable, secure, and high-performance network infrastructure across multiple AWS accounts, regions, and VPCs. Just to stay informed, plan diligently, and adapt your architecture to meet the evolving needs of your cloud-based applications too. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the second session of the topic of network design part 2. Thank you once again, and thank you all, my dear students. Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the third session of the course. The topic name is network implementation we need to discuss in the specific lecture module. So, navigating the cloud, a comprehensive discussion to implementing routing and connectivity between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud we need to discuss now. In the ever-evolving landscape of cloud computing, businesses are increasingly leveraging the power of services like Amazon Web Services to enhance their operations. One critical aspect of this migration is establishing a robust connectivity between on-premises networks and the AWS cloud. As part of the very long lecture, we will discuss some of the key considerations and best practices for implementing a seamless routing and connectivity. The first point we need to talk about the routing protocols. What of the static versus dynamic? As I told on a yearly lecture part, routing is the backbone of a network communication. So choosing the right routing protocol, that is very crucial here. And like a static routing provides a simplicity, while dynamic routing protocols like a BGP, like a border gateway protocol, it offers scalability and adaptability, as I told. So the choice depends on the specific needs and the complexity of your network. Second will be on a VPNs, that is for security and acceleration. So virtual private networks that play a pivotal role in securing a data in transit between on-premises and the cloud. So understanding security protocols, encryption methods, and accelerated VPN options ensures a secure and efficient data transfer mechanisms too. The third point we need to talk about the layer 1 hardware and LOA documents. Actually, LOA, that is letter of authorization documents. At the physical layer, hardware choices and adherence to regulatory requirements such as like LOA documents like letter of authorization that are very crucial now. Because the collocation facilities and a direct connect that can provide a dedicated and high-speed connections between on-premises and AWS infrastructure too. The fourth will be on, as I told, like a layer 2 and a layer 3. That's a VLANs, IP addressing, gateways, routing and switching, everything. Because you deep dive into layer 2 and layer 3, that the considerations includes like topics like VLANs for segmentation, IP addressing schemes, gateways, and intricacies of routing and the switching mode. So understanding these elements, that is vital for creating a robust and efficient network architecture process. So what of the fifth point? That is, the traffic management and SD-WAN, that is a transit gateway connect we need to discuss now. So according to traffic management and SD-WAN, that is a transit gateway connect. So, efficient traffic management, that is essential for optimal performance. So AWS offers solutions like a transit gateway connect and SD-WAN to streamline and optimize network traffic. And it's providing a flexibility and control over the data flows. So sixth point we need to discuss about the DNS, that is for conditional forwarding and hosted zones resolvers. Domain name system, that is DNS, that is often overlooked by it is a very critical component for nameless solution model. So exploring features like a conditional forwarding, hosted zones, and resolvers that ensures a reliable and a scalable DNS infrastructure we can focus. Seventh point will be on security appliances, that is for firewalls. In a cloud environment, security, that is very paramount. Firewalls that act as the first line of defense. So understanding the capabilities of AWS security appliances, it helps in crafting a robust security posture too. Eighth point, that is a load balancing, layer 4 versus layer 7, and the reverse proxies, and layer 3 also we need to discuss now. Efficient distribution of incoming network traffic, that is achieved through load balancing. So delving into the differences between a layer 4 and a layer 7, that is a load balancing, and understanding a reverse proxies and the role of layer 3 in load balancing, that is very essential for maintaining high availability. Ninth will be an infrastructure automation, that is also an important stage to scale operations seamlessly. Infrastructure automation, that is very important key. Leveraging AWS services for automation, it ensures that the changes to the network that are managed efficiently and consistently. The 10th will be an AWS organizations and AWS RAM, that is for a multi-account transit gateway, direct connect, Amazon VPC, and Route 53. As I have explained on a yearly lecture part, it's for managing a multiple AWS accounts, it requires a thoughtful approach. So AWS organizations and AWS Resource Access Manager, that is RAM, that facilitate the multi-account setups for services like a transit gateway, direct connect, Amazon VPC, and Route 53 too. So the next will be on a test connectivity, the route analyzer and reachability analyzer. Regularly testing connectivity, that is very crucial for identifying and resolving potential issues. So AWS tools like a route analyzer and reachability analyzer that aid in diagnosing and optimizing a network connectivity. The 12th point, that is final, like a networking services or VPC. So understanding the networking services it offers within the AWS virtual private clouds like VPC is the final piece of a puzzle. This includes considerations for subnets, security groups, and a network access control list like NACLs too. So the conclusion, we can say successful bridging on premises networks within the AWS cloud, it demands a holistic understanding of routing, connectivity, and the various AWS services available. By mastering the intricacies of routing protocols, VPNs, hardware choices, and other critical elements, businesses they can ensure a smooth and secure transition to the cloud, that's unlocking the full potential of AWS services for their operations too. The next part, we need to talk about the navigating the AWS networking maze, a comprehensive discussion to routing and connectivity. In the dynamic landscape of a cloud computing, AWS stands out as a key player, and it's providing a plethora of services and features. So among these, networking, that is a very critical aspect that requires a careful consideration and implementation. So in this lecture, we will explore the intricate world of routing and connectivity across the multiple AWS accounts, regions, and VPCs, and delve into some of the supporting different connectivity patterns also we need to discuss now. The first point, inter-VPC and multi-account activity and connectivity. So starting from the VPC peering, as I told, VPC peering, it enables the connection of multiple VPCs within the same or different AWS accounts, and it's allowing them to communicate as if they were part of a single network instance. And actually this feature is instrumental in creating a seamless and secure environment for inter-VPC communication process. The second will be a transit gateway. For larger and more complex network architectures, a transit gateway it provides a scalable solution to connect multiple VPCs and on-premises networks. It simplifies the network architecture and reduces operational overhead by acting as a central hub for routing traffic. The third will be a VPN and third-party vendors. So virtual private networks that remain a robust option for secure connectivity. And AWS, it allows the integration of a third-party solutions for added flexibility. This is particularly useful when specific requirements or existing infrastructure that dictate the use of a third-party vendors. The final will be an SD-WAN and MPLS. So for organizations with advanced networking needs, software-defined wide area networking, that is SD-WAN, and multi-protocol labeled switching like MPLS, it offers sophisticated solutions. So integrating these technologies into your AWS environment, it requires a nuanced understanding of a networking principles and the configurations. Understand. So what about the private application connectivity we need to discuss now? Starting from the private link that enables secure and scalable communication between VPCs and AWS services without traversing the public internet. This is invaluable for enhancing the security posture of applications by keeping a traffic within the AWS network more. So expanding AWS networking connectivity we need to discuss, starting from the AWS organizations. AWS organizations actually it simplifies the management of a multiple AWS accounts by creating an organizational unit that streamlines a building process, access control, and resource sharing across accounts. And AWS RAM, like a resource access manager, AWS RAM, it facilitates the resource sharing across accounts, and it's allowing for a unified approach to managing and accessing resources. And this is especially useful when collaboration is required between different AWS accounts here. The third will be a host and the service named solution. So here we need to discuss about the DNS. So domain name system, it play a crucial role in resolving a host and the service names, because the proper DNS configurations that is vital for ensuring a seamless communication between applications and clients across different VPCs and different accounts. According to the infrastructure automation, that is the implementing infrastructure as a code, the short code is IAC, that using tools like AWS Cloud Formation or Terraform that streamlines the deployment and management of networking resources. So automation that ensures the consistency, reduces errors, and enhances overall efficiency we need to go through. So what is authentication and authorization? So starting from the SAML and Active Directory, SAML means like a security assertion markup language, and integration with Active Directory that are pivotal for implementing a robust authentication and authorization mechanisms. It's ensuring that only authorized users and applications access your network process. So what of the security? Security groups, network ACLs, and AWS network firewall. It's all crafting a robust network strategy that involves utilizing AWS security groups, network ACLs, and the AWS network firewall. And these components work together to create a difference in depth approach, safeguarding your network from unauthorized access and the potential threats we need to focus more. The final will be on a test connectivity. Actually, the route analyzer and reachability analyzer and tooling, that is very important stage. So regularly testing a connectivity, that is very crucial for identifying and resolving issues promptly. Here, AWS provides tools like a route analyzer and reachability analyzer. It's along with the various third-party tooling options to diagnose and to troubleshoot connectivity problems effectively. So in a short conclusion, we can say mastering routing and connectivity in AWS, it requires a holistic understanding of the available tools and services. By leveraging the capabilities of a VPC peering, a transit gateway, VPNs, a private link, a DNS, automation, authentication mechanisms, and robust security practices, business organizations can build a resilient and secure networks that seamlessly connect resources across multiple accounts, regions, and VPCs. Also we need to focus more. So stay connected, stay secure, and keep navigating the AWS networking maze with the confidence. The next part we need to talk about the mastering complex hybrid and multi-account DNS architecture, a comprehensive discussion. As I told, in today's interconnected digital landscape, managing domain name system and configuration, that is a very critical aspect of ensuring a seamless and reliable online experiences. As organizations grow and deploy applications across the various environments, implementing complex hybrid and multi-account DNS architectures becomes very imperative. This part of the lecture, we need to discuss about some of the key components of such architectures. It's providing insights into when to use private hosted zones and public hosted zones, traffic management strategies, DNS record types, and everything. And the DNS security extensions and DNS delegation and forwarding, as well as sharing a DNS services between accounts, everything we need to discuss now. The first point we need to talk about the understanding of hosted zones, starting from the private hosted zones. Private hosted zones that are very crucial for internal communication within your network, understand, and they enable you to create a custom DNS names that can only be resolved within a specified Amazon Web Services private clouds. This ensures secure and isolated communication between resources. So what are the public hosted zones? On the other hand, we can say public hosted zones that are designed for external facing resources. They enable you to map a domain names to IP addresses that are accessible from the internet actually. So public hosted zones that are ideal for websites, APIs, and other services that are needed to be globally accessible here. So what are the traffic management? Starting from the methods for traffic alteration, latency based routing we have to focus. That is a first step. Route traffic that is based on the lowest latency to enhance performance, and according to the geographical routing, direct users to the nearest endpoint that is based on their geographical location. That's optimizing latency and the user experience too. Third, we have a weighted routing, so distributed traffic that is based on a predefined weights. It's allowing for controlled load balancing process. So what about the DNS delegation and the forwarding? Starting from the conditional forwarding, just to implement the conditional forwarding to specify certain conditions under which DNS that requires the queries that are very forwarded to another DNS server here. And this can be very useful for optimizing performance or ensuring compliance with the specific security policies. So according to the DNS record types also we need to focus now. Understanding various DNS record types that is fundamental for effective DNS management. Here is the type and the description we have mentioned in the image. Some of the key record types include starting from the A records, that is address records. It's look like maps a domain to an IP version 4 address. And next will be on a WWA, that is IP version 6 address records that map a domain to an IP version 6 address. And TXT, that is a text records, it holds the text information associated with the domain. And the pointer records, that is a PTR, it is used for a reverse DNS lookups. Finally, we have alias records, that is redirects and domain to another here. So what of the DNS security? The short code is a DNSSEC. So DNS security extensions is very crucial for ensuring the integrity and authenticity of a DNS data. It adds an additional layer of a security by signing a DNS data with the cryptographic signatures. It's reducing the risk of a DNS related attacks too. According to the sharing DNS services between accounts, we need to focus. Here, AWS Resource Access Manager, the short code is RAM, that can be leveraged to share DNS services between AWS accounts. This facilitates centralized management and enhances the collaboration between different teams within an organization. The next will be an outbound and inbound endpoints. So understanding the requirements and implementation, the options for outbound and inbound endpoints is very essential for crafting a comprehensive DNS architecture. Just to consider factors such as like a scalability, security, and the compliance when designing these type of endpoints. So implementing complex hybrid and multi-account DNS architecture, it requires a deep understanding of the various components involved. By strategically utilizing a private and public hosted zones, implementing effective traffic management, leveraging a DNS service records or record types, and incorporating a security measures like a DNS security, organizations can build a robust and scalable DNS infrastructures. Additionally, we need to focus sharing DNS services between accounts through AWS RAM and carefully considering outbound and inbound endpoints. That further enhances the overall architecture and it ensuring optimal performance, security, and flexibility in the ever-evolving digital landscape we can create. Okay, the next point, the transforming network architecture, a deep dive into automation and configuration we need to discuss now. As I told, in the fast-paced world of technology, the demand for efficient, scalable, and agile network that infrastructure is ever growing actually. To meet these demands, businesses are turning to automation and configuration tools that not only streamline the processes but also enhance reliability. So, in this lecture, we will explore the key concepts and technologies that involved in automating and configuring network infrastructure with a focus on infrastructure as a code, like IAC, and the challenges associated with the hard-coded instructions in cloud networking resources provisioning. The first point we need to talk about the understanding infrastructure as a code, IAC. Infrastructure as a code is a paradigm shift that allows developers and operations teams to manage and provision infrastructure through a code rather than through the manual processes. Understand? And this not only increases efficiency but also ensures the consistency and repeatability in infrastructure deployment. Like several tools we can say, and several frameworks such as the AWS Cloud Development Kit, the short code is AWS CDK, and AWS Cloud Formation, okay, AWS Cloud Formation, and AWS CLI, and AWS SDK, and various APIs, everything. It facilitates the implementation of IAC. The first point we need to talk about the AWS Cloud Environment Kit, that is AWS CDK. AWS CDK, that is a game changer in the IAC landscape, okay, that is infrastructure as a code landscape. It allows developers to define a cloud infrastructure using a familiar programming languages such as Java or TypeScript, Python, and much more. This higher level abstractions, it simplifies the process of creating and managing AWS resources, and it's making it more accessible to a broader audience. Second, we've been an AWS Cloud Formation. Actually, AWS Cloud Formation, that is a declarative way to define and provision AWS infrastructure as a code. It enables you to use templates to describe the resources that are needed and their dependencies, and the Cloud Formation, it takes care of the rest here. And this approach provides a consistent and a predictable environment. It's reducing the risk of errors and manual configurations too. So what about the AWS CLI and SDKs? AWS command line interfaces, that is AWS CLI, and the software development kits, that is SDKs. It offers additional flexibility for automating infrastructure tasks. Understand? And these tools allow for scripting and integration with other systems, and it's providing a powerful means to automate the complex workflows we can create. Finally, when APIs in IAC, so application programming interfaces, it's play a crucial role in IAC by enabling communication between different software components. Understand? They allow for a seamless integration and coordination, and it's contributing to the overall automation of a network infrastructure. So second will be an event-driven network automation. So event-driven network automation, it takes the automation concept actually a step further by triggering actions in response to specific events or changes in the environment. And this approach ensures that network infrastructure, they can adapt dynamically to evolving conditions here. So what are the benefits of event-driven automation, starting from the real-time adaptability? So response immediately to changes in the network environment. That is the first point. And like efficient resource utilization also we need to focus. It allocates the resources that are based on actual demand, optimizing performance, everything. And the fault tolerance also we need to concentrate. It automatically addresses issues as they arise. It's minimizing downtime too. So what are the implementing event-driven automation? Different type of tools like AWS Event Bridge, it enables event-driven architectures in the cloud by defining roles that match the events and specifying targets for those events. So business organizations can build a responsive and adaptive network infrastructures we can create. The third will be the challenges of hard code instructions in IAC templates. While IAC brings in numerous benefits, it's relying on hard code instructions in templates that can introduce the challenges and hinder the full potential of automation. So, what are the points we need to discuss? Starting from the lack of flexibility. Understand hard coding that is specific values that may limit the adaptability of infrastructure to changes, making it challenging to scale or modify configurations without a manual intervention. Next will be the maintenance issues. As infrastructure evolves, hard-coded that values become outdated process because regular maintenance that is required to keep a template synchronized within the current state of the network, that is for increasing the risk of errors too. The final will be a reduced collaboration. Teams may face difficulties collaborating when templates contain hard-coded values, as changes can impact multiple components, that's leading to coordination challenges too. So what are the best practices for effective network automation we need to discuss and finalize? To overcome challenges and to maximize the benefits of a network automation, just to consider the following best practices, starting from the parameterization. Use the parameters to make a templates more flexible and adaptable. That is very important stage. And the version control also we need to focus. We need to implement the version control for IAC templates to track a different type of changes and manage updates systematically. So what are the documentation? Thoroughly document templates to enhance the collaboration and understanding across teams. And finally, testing also we have to maintain and we need to do frequently. Regularly test templates in a sandbox environments to identify and rectify issues before production deployment we have to follow. So, as businesses strive for more agile and efficient operations, the automation and the configuration of a network infrastructure that have become very imperative, like leveraging IAC, event-driven automation, and avoiding hard-coded instructions in templates that are very important key strategies to build resilient, scalable, and adaptive network environments we need to create. By embracing these type of technologies and best practices, organizations can stay ahead in the ever-evolving landscape of a network infrastructure management. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the third session of the topic of the network implementation. Thank you once again, and thank you all, my dear students. Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the fourth session of the course. The topic name is Network Management and Operation we need to discuss in the specific lecture module. Navigating the web, a discussion to network management and operations in AWS hybrid networks. In the ever-evolving landscape of a cloud computing, effective network management and operation that apply a pivotal role in ensuring a seamless connectivity and routing. This part of the lecture we need to discuss about some of the task statement and focusing on the maintenance of routing and the connectivity in AWS and hybrid networks. And we will explore the key elements that are required for a successful network management, including like industry standard routing protocols, connectivity methods, limitations, access methods, and communication patterns. Everything we need to discuss now. The first point we need to talk about the industry standard routing protocols. The routing protocols that are the backbone of any type of network. It's determining how data travels from a source to destination. In AWS hybrid networks, industry standard protocols such as like a border gateway protocol, that shortcode is a BGP, it over direct connect are commonly used here. Like a BGP, it ensures a dynamic and efficient routing process, particularly beneficial in scenarios where multiple paths that exist between the networks here. So understanding and implementing BGP, that is very crucial for maintaining optimal connectivity in AWS hybrid environments. So what are the connectivity methods for AWS and hybrid networks? To facilitate robust connectivity, AWS it offers a range of methods and each tailored to specific use cases. So what are the key connectivity methods include, starting from the direct connect gateway. That is the first point we need to discuss now. This allows for a centralized connection management hub, and it's simplifying the process of connecting to multiple virtual private clouds. According to the transit gateway, it's ideal for scaling connectivity in a hub and spoke model. So transit gateway, it streamlines network architecture and it's providing a more efficient scalable solutions too. The third will be on a VIF, that is a virtual interface. Virtual interface are essential for establishing connections between on-premises data centers and AWS. It's ensuring a secure and a dedicated network links too. The next point, that is, like understanding the nuances of each connectivity, that methods empowers network administrators to design and implement the resilient network architectures. So what are the limits and the quotas in AWS networking services? So effective network management, it involves a comprehensive understanding of the limits and the quotas that imposed by AWS. Bandwidth limits and route limits that are crucial considerations when designing and maintaining networks model. So administrators must be aware of these constraints to prevent the potential bottlenecks and ensure optimal network performance too. And the regular monitoring and adjustment of configurations in line with these type of limits that are very imperative for a smoothly operating network infrastructure we have to focus. So what are the private and public access methods for a custom services? Like AWS provides a various access methods for a custom services, and it's a catering to different security and connectivity requirements. Two prominent methods, as I told on a earlier lecture part. Number one will be on a private link. It's offering a secure and scalable solution because the private link, it enables access to services over the AWS backbone without traversing the public internet. This is particularly advantageous for organizations prioritizing data privacy and security. According to the VPC peering, connecting the VPCs within the same of different AWS accounts, because the VPC peering, it allows for a seamless communication between resources. This method is instrumental in building interconnected and collaborative network architectures too. The next will be an inter-regional and intra-regional communication patterns we need to discuss now. So as businesses expand globally, understanding a communication patterns, that is very vital mode. Here AWS supports both interregional and intra-regional communication, and it's allowing for tailored network architectures too. Like interregional communication, it facilitates connectivity between AWS regions, while intra-regional communication, it focuses on optimizing connections within a specific region. So network administrators must carefully design their architecture to leverage these type of communication patterns efficiently. A short conclusion, we can say, in the dynamic realm of cloud computing, effective network management and operations that are essential for harnessing the full potential of AWS hybrid networks. By understanding industry standard routing protocols, leveraging connectivity methods, and navigating limits and quotas, utilizing access methods, and optimizing communication patterns, business organizations can build resilient, high-performing networks that cater to their specific needs. As technology continues to develop, staying abreast of the latest developments in AWS networking, that is a very important key to maintaining a competitive edge in the digital landscape we can focus. The next part will be on a mastering network performance, discussing to monitoring, analyzing, and optimizing a connectivity patterns we need to discuss now. The dynamic landscape of a modern technology, maintaining a seamless and robust network infrastructure, that is very crucial for businesses to thrive. Like a network performance that plays a pivotal role in ensuring that the data flows efficiently, applications run very smoothly, and the user experience optimal connectivity, everything. That's why this part of the lecture part, we need to discuss about some of the essential aspects of monitoring and analyzing network traffic to troubleshoot and optimize connectivity patterns. And as well as we will explore some of the key concepts, tools, and techniques that empower network administrators to proactively address performance issues and enhance the overall reliability of their networks too. The first point, we need to talk about understanding a network performance metrics. Actually, a solid grasp of a network performance metrics, that is fundamental to identifying and addressing connectivity issues. So what are the key metrics include, starting from the routing, Efficient routing, that is a critical for data to traverse the network. Understanding routing protocols, analyzing routing tables, and ensuring the absence of routing loops that are vital aspects of maintaining optimal connectivity. Second will be a packet size. The size of a data packets can impact the network performance. Monitoring packet size, it helps identify the potential bottlenecks and ensures that the network is optimized for the types of data being transmitted. And the third will be reachability constraints. So assessing reachability constraints, it involves evaluating the ability of a data to reach its intended destination. This includes analyzing the network topology and ensuring that all the devices are reachable within acceptable parameters. Understand? So, what are the appropriate logs and metrics for assessment? Actually, to gain insights into network performance and reachability, it's very crucial to leverage relevant logs and metrics. Some of the examples we need to discuss now, starting from the packet loss. Identifying packet loss, that is essential for diagnosing connectivity issues. Tools like a CloudWatch that can provide a real-time data on a packet loss. It's helping administrators pinpoint the problematic areas in the network. What about the latency? Monitoring latency, that is very important key to assessing the responsiveness of the network. And high latency that can lead to sluggish performance, and understanding its causes is vital for optimization level. The third will be on error rates. So examining error rates in a network transmissions, it helps identify issues such as like a corrupted data or misconfigurations. And regularly monitoring error rates, that is very crucial for maintaining a data integrity. So what are the tools for log connections and analysis? Actually, there are several tools that are available to collect and analyze logs or metrics effectively. We can examples starting from the CloudWatch. So Amazon CloudWatch, that is a robust tool for collecting and tracking metrics, monitoring log files and setting alarms, everything. It provides a comprehensive view of the network's health and performance we need to maintain through the process. Second will be on VPC flow logs. So Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, the VPC flow logs that capture information about the IP traffic going to and from network interfaces. Analyzing these logs offers valuable insights into traffic patterns and potential issues too. The third will be on VPC traffic monitoring. This feature, it allows the inspection of the networking traffic in your VPC. By mirroring traffic to a monitoring instance, administrators can analyze the packets and troubleshoot performance problems effectively. So, what are the tools for analyzing routing patterns and issues? Actually, understanding and optimizing the routing patterns and issues, that is vital for optimizing network connectivity model. Tools include starting from the reachability analyzer as a tool. This tool helps evaluate the reachability of resources in a network. It assists in identifying any connectivity gaps and ensures that the data can flow seamlessly between devices. Second, we have a transit gateway network manager, and this tool simplifies the network management by providing a centralized view of the transit gateway. It aids in monitoring and troubleshooting connectivity across multiple VPCs we can maintain here. Understand? Okay, so in a short conclusion, we can say in the ever-evolving world of a network infrastructure, mastering the art of monitoring and analyzing connectivity patterns, that is very essential. By understanding network performance metrics, utilizing appropriate logs and metrics, and leveraging powerful tools, business administrators and system administrators can troubleshoot these type of issues. It's optimizing a connectivity patterns and ensure a reliable and high performance network. So just to continuous monitoring and the priority analysis, that are the keys to staying ahead of the potential challenges and maintaining a network that meets the demands of today's digital landscape. We can focus. So the next and final point, we need to talk about the mastering AWS network optimization, a comprehensive discussion for performance, reliability, and cost effectiveness. As I told, in the ever-evolving landscape of a cloud computing, optimizing your AWS networks that is very paramount to achieving this type of optimal performance, reliability, and cost effectiveness. As part of the lecture, we will delve into the various aspects of AWS networking, exploring key concepts, strategies, and best practices to ensure your infrastructure operates at its peak level. The first point we need to discuss about the choosing between VPC peering and a transit gateway. So understanding the situations in which a VPC peer or a transit gateway is appropriate, that is very crucial part. Because VPC peering is suitable for connecting VPCs within the same or different AWS accounts, where transit gateways are designed to simplify network architecture, particularly in a complex multi-VPC environments. So we will explore scenarios where each option shines and how to make informed decisions based on your specific use case. Second will be on a bandwidth utilization strategies we need to maintain. So efficiently managing bandwidth is very essential for both the performance and the cost considerations. And like we will discuss different methods such as like unicast versus multicast communication and leveraging CloudFront for content delivery. By optimizing bandwidth utilization, it can enhance your network's responsiveness and reduce the data transfer cost. The third point will be a very important point, like a cost-effective connectivity between VPCs and on-premises environments. Achieving seamless environments and connectivity that between your AWS VPCs and on-premises environments, that is a very common requirement. And we need to explore various cost-effective options, considering factors such as like a direct connect, VPNs, and AWS Transit Gateway to ensure a reliable and affordable data transfer process. The fourth will be an understanding AWS network interfaces. So AWS, it offers a variety of network interfaces and each is serving a distinct purposes, and we need to dive into the different types available such as like elastic network interfaces and elastic IP addresses. It's providing insights into their use cases and how to leverage them effectively in your network architecture too. The fifth point will be a high availability that features in a Route 53. Actually, the Route 53, that is a critical component for DNS management in AWS. And we need to explore some of the high availability features, including like a DNS load balancing with the health checks, a latency based routing, and wider record sets. Understanding and implementing these features that enhance the reliability and fault tolerance of your applications too. Sixth point, that is the reliability options in a Route 53. Route 53, it offers several options to enhance the reliability of your DNS infrastructure. And we need to cover some of the features like global anycast routing, alias records, and a DNS failover. It's providing you with the tools to build a robust and resilient domain name system we can focus. Seventh is load balancing and traffic distribution patterns. As I told on an introduction part of the lecture, efficient load balancing, that is very important key to distributing a traffic across your application's infrastructure. Here we need to discuss some of the AWS elastic load balancing and explore the traffic distribution patterns such as like round robin and least connection to ensure your application that remains available in responsive mode. Eighth will be on a VPC subnet optimization, just properly designing and optimizing your VPC subnets. That is a fundamental to achieving both the performance and security level. And we need to understand into the subnet design the best practices and addressing considerations like IP address allocation, routing, and security group configurations too. Finally, we've been a frame size optimization for a bandwidth. So optimizing frame sizes across the different connection types is very essential for maximizing bandwidth efficiency. Here we need to explore some of the considerations for adjusting frame sizes that are based on a connection types, the protocols, and the network conditions to ensure optimal data transfer performance. So in conclusion, we can say mastering AWS network optimization, that is a multifaceted endeavor that requires a deep understanding of AWS services and their interplay. By carefully considering VPC architecture, bandwidth utilization, connectivity options, and high availability features, you can create a network infrastructure that delivers exceptional performance, reliability, and cost effectiveness for your applications too. Just to stay tuned for more insights into the evolving world of AWS networking model. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the fourth session of the topic of network management and operations. Thank you once again, and thank you all, my dear students. Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the fifth and final session of the course. The topic name is Network Security, Compliance, and Governance. We need to discuss in the specific lecture module. So, safeguarding the digital frontiers, the navigating network security, compliance, and governance in AWS. In an era dominated by digital connectivity, the protection of a sensitive data and infrastructure, that is very paramount. Like a network security, compliance, and governance that play a pivotal roles in ensuring the integrity and the confidentiality of information in the ever-evolving landscape of a cloud computing industry. This part of the lecture, we need to discuss about some of the essential aspects of implementing and maintaining network features to meet the security and the compliance needs, with a specific focus on Amazon Web Services. The first point, we need to talk about the understanding of threat models. Actually, a robust network security strategy that begins with a thorough understanding of a potential threats. Threat models that are tailored to the application architecture that serve as the blueprints for identifying and mitigating risk. Whether it's a monolithic or microservices based architecture, and it's recognizing the specific vulnerabilities that inherent in each of is a very crucial mode. So by comprehending the threat landscape, organizations can implement the targeted security measures to safeguard against potential breaches. So what are the common security threats we need to discuss now? Networks are constantly under siege from a myriad of threats, from DDoS attacks to data breaches, because the list of potential risk is very extensive mode. This part, it outlines some of the common security threats that are faced by networks today and explores how organizations can fortify their defenses. Here some of the topics include, we can say, like intrusion detection systems, firewalls, encryption, and the importance of regular security audits to stay one step ahead of cyber adversaries. According to the securing application flows, the applications that are the lifeblood of modern businesses, and securing their data flows, that is very imperative. Examining the mechanisms to secure different application flows, including like a user authentication, data transit, and access controls, that is very crucial. Encryption protocols, multi-factor authentication, and secure API gateways, that are important key components in building a resilient defense that against unauthorized access and data breaches. So what of the AWS network architecture for security and compliance we need to discuss? As businesses migrate their operations to the cloud, like understanding AWS network architecture, that becomes very paramount. So AWS provides a robust set of tools and services to help business organizations to meet their security and compliance requirements. So here in the section part, we need to explore some of the best practices for designing and implementing secure network architectures on AWS. And we can cover some of the virtual private clouds, security groups, and network access control list, and the use of AWS identity and access management for finely tuned access control we can maintain. So what of the compliance in the cloud? Adherence to regularity standards is non-negotiable for many type of businesses. This segment highlights the importance of compliance in the cloud and how AWS offers services that align with the various regulatory frameworks. Whether it's a GDPR, HIPAA, or other industry-specific industries, AWS provides the tools and features to help organizations that maintain a compliance while harnessing the benefits of a cloud computing model. According to the governance, the effective governance, that is the linchpin that holds together a secure and compliant network architecture. This part, some of the explaining about the governance practices within AWS, including the use of AWS config for tracking changes, like AWS Cloud Trail for logging and monitoring process, and AWS organizations for managing a multiple AWS accounts, everything. So by implementing robust governance strategies, organizations can maintain a control and visibility across the AWS architecture. So in a smart conclusion, we can say in the ever-evolving landscape of digital business and connectivity, like digital connectivity, network security, compliance, and the governance that stand as the guardians of a sensitive information. That's implementing and maintaining a network features to meet the security and the compliance needs is a multifaceted challenge. But with a solid understanding of the threat models, common security threats, application flows, and AWS network architecture, business organizations can build a resilient defense that against the ever-present cyber threats. In the cloud era, we can say AWS provides a powerful toolkit to fortify these defenses and ensure that our digital frontiers remain secure and compliant mode. The next part of the content, we need to talk about the enhancing AWS security, discussion 2, network monitoring and logging services. In the ever-evolving landscape of cloud computing, security remains a top priority for organizations that are leveraging Amazon Web Services. With the vast array of services and configurations available, ensuring the integrity and resilience of your network infrastructure is a very crucial part. In this part of the lecture, we will delve into some of the realm of network monitoring and logging services on AWS. That's exploring some of the key tools and techniques to validate and audit security and effectively. The first point, we need to talk about the understanding of network monitoring and logging services. So what of the CloudWatch? AWS CloudWatch, that is a comprehensive monitoring services that provides a real-time insights into various AWS resources. It enables users to collect and track metrics, collect and monitor log files, and set alarms. CloudWatch alarms that serve as essential mechanisms for alerting teams about potential security threats or breaches. And second will be an AWS Cloud Trail. AWS Cloud Trail that records API calls that are made on your account. It's offering a detailed history of actions taken by users, roles, or AWS services. This auditing capability is invaluable for validating security measures and ensuring compliance with the regularity standards too. The third will be on a VPC traffic mirroring and flow logs. We can say like illuminating network activity. So mirroring allows for the capture and inspection of network activity, that is a traffic in your virtual private cloud, that is a VPC, that's paired with the VPC flow logs, which capture information about IP traffic it's going to and from network interfaces. And these tools provide visibility into network activities. It's aiding in the identification of a potential security threats. So what are the logging mechanisms across AWS services? Starting from the VPC flow logs, that is for tracking the flow of data. VPC flow logs that record a metadata about the IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in your VPC as a tool. So by examining these logs, you gain insights into accepted and rejected traffic, and it's helping you validate security configurations and detect anomalous behavior. Second will be a load balancer access logs, that's called insights into web traffic. So load balancer and access logs are a valuable resource for understanding traffic patterns and identifying potential security issues. By analyzing these logs, you can gain a visibility into your request, responses, and errors. That's enhancing your ability to validate and audit the security of your applications too. The third will be a CloudFront access logs. It's for securing a content delivery mode. So CloudFront access logs, it provides detailed information about your user request and the content delivery. Leveraging these logs, you can monitor and audit the security of your content delivery. That's ensuring that your assets that are very served securely to end users more. The next will be on we need to talk about the like a log delivery mechanism starting from the Amazon Kinesis, that is streamlining the insight mode. Amazon Kinesis that facilitates the collection, processing, and analysis of real-time data streams, including logs. So integrating a Kinesis with your logging strategy that allows for a seamless and efficient delivery of logs for a further analysis and archival. Second, we've been a Route 53, that is for a DNS logging for enhanced security. A DNS logging that is a critical component of a network security. As I have informed on the earlier lecture part, like AWS Route 53 that offers DNS logging capabilities, it's allowing you to monitor and audit domain resolution request that's contributing to a comprehensive security posture. The third will be a CloudWatch that is for a centralized log management. CloudWatch is not only a monitoring tool but also a centralized platform for a log management process instead. By utilizing a CloudWatch logs, you can aggregate, monitor, and store logs, streamlining the process of auditing and validating the security across your AWS environment. We can focus. So what are the auditing network security configurations? Starting from the security groups, that's for defining a firewall routes. Security groups act as a virtual firewalls for your instances that's controlling inbound and outbound traffic, because the regular audits of a security group configurations that help ensure that only necessary traffic is allowed. So minimizing the risk of unauthorized access, we can focus. Second, we have an AWS Firewall Manager that's for a centralized security policy management. AWS Firewall, it provides a centralized way to manage the security policies across your AWS accounts and applications. It simplifies the enforcement of security rules, and it's making it very easy to audit and validate your network security configurations too. The third will be an AWS Trusted Advisor, your security consultant here. AWS Trusted Advisor, it offers security recommendations that is based on your best practices. Regularly consulting trusted advisors that helps you identify the potential security gaps and optimize your AWS infrastructure for enhanced security. We have to focus. So in a short conclusion, we need to say effective security on AWS that requires a proactive approach that combines vigilant monitoring and robust logging practices, everything. By leveraging tools like, as I told, like a CloudWatch, CloudTrail, VPC traffic mirroring, and VPC flow logs, alongside alert mechanisms and logging mechanisms, business organizations can establish a strong security foundation. Because the regularly auditing network security configurations through services like a security groups, AWS Firewall Manager, and a trusted advisor that ensures ongoing compliance and protection that against evolving threats. So embrace these type of tools and practices to fortify your AWS environment and stay ahead in the ever-changing landscape of cloud security. We can focus. The next and final point of the topic we need to discuss about the securing data and communications in AWS we need to discuss now. So in today's digital landscape where data is the lifeblood of businesses, that's ensuring its confidentiality and the secure transmission that is very paramount. With the rise of cloud computing, Amazon Web Services has become a popular choice for organizations that are seeking scalable and flexible solutions. As part of the lecture, we will delve into the crucial aspects of implementing and maintaining confidentiality of data and communications within the AWS network. The first point, we need to talk about the network encryption options in AWS. The one of the fundamental pillars of data security, that is encryption. AWS provides various encryption options to safeguard data at rest and in transit mode. For data in transit, like a transport layer security and a secure sockets layer like SSL protocols are commonly used here, but AWS Certificate Manager that allows for the easy management and the deployment of SSL or TLS certificates. That's ensuring a secure communication between clients and services too. For data at rest level, services like AWS key management services that enable the creation and control of encryption keys that ensuring that a stored data remains confidential, utilizing encryption options such as like AWS S3's server-side encryption that is very crucial for securing a data stored in the cloud level. The second point we need to talk about the VPN connectivity over Direct Connect. So as I have explained on a yearly lecture, AWS Direct Connect, it provides us dedicated network connection between an organization's on-premises data center and the AWS cloud. To enhance the security of this connection, virtual private network connectivity that can be implemented over Direct Connect. This layered approach adds an extra layer of encryption to ensure the confidentiality of data traversing the network. So what are the encryption methods for a data in transit mode, like IPsec, like Internet Protocol Security? That is a widely used protocol for securing communication over the internet. But in AWS, IPsec that can be deployed to encrypt data in transit between a virtual private clouds or between on-premises networks and AWS. This method ensures that even if data is intercepted and it remains unreadable without the appropriate decryption keys. And what of the AWS shared responsibility model for network encryption? So understanding the AWS shared responsibility model, that is very crucial for implementing the effective security measures. While AWS manages the security of the cloud infrastructure, customers are responsible for securing their cloud within the cloud. That is the data. This includes like implementing encryption mode, managing access controls, and regularly monitoring for any type of security vulnerabilities. The final will be security models for DNS communications. The domain name system, that is a very critical component of our network communication, that are translating user-friendly domain names into IP addresses. So to enhance the security of our DNS communications, DNS security extensions that can be employed here. As I told, AWS provides a support for DNS security extensions that ensuring the integrity of a DNS data and protecting against malicious activities such as like a DNS spoofing. So in a conclusion, we can focus securing data and communications with the AWS network. It requires a multifaceted approach, utilizing encryption options, implementing VPN connectivity over the Direct Connect, employing encryption methods for data in transit, understanding the shared responsibility model, and adopting security methods for DNS communications. That are all vital components of a robust security strategy we need to focus. By staying informed and leveraging the available tools and services, business organizations, they can create a secure environment for their data in the ever-evolving landscape of cloud computing we need to focus. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the fifth and final session of the topic of network security, compliance and governance. Thank you once again, and thank you all my dear students.